Okay, go ahead now.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the third edition of the Goopply Cast. I'm your host, Matt Carter. With me, we have basically everybody included in Goopply and everything that we do here. We'll start first with Matt Evans. How's it going, Matt?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing good. Then we have Roy. How's it going, Roy? Roy Czlapinski.
Things are going good.
It's better than bad. Then we got Steve Darnall. Is it Darnall or Darnell? I assume
Darnall, you got it right. Good job.
Cool. How you doing?
Good. Joining you from Planet Indoor, as you can see.
Awesome. Awesome. Very cool. Nice setup. That's a spoiler for what our topic is today. And then we also have Tim Van Klaveren. How's it going, Tim?
Pretty good.
Awesome. And that's everybody. So, Endor. Why did you mention Endor, Steve?
Well, today we are talking about Star Wars, more specifically the new Star Wars Episode 7 movie.
The Force Awakens.
Yes.
I thought it would be a cool idea to talk about Star Wars just because it's so easy and everybody's talking about it, and it's just sci-fi, it's technology, it kind of works.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, and I know you, luckily, are really into Star Wars, it seems.
Oh, I am. I'm a big fanboy.
How many times have you seen the movie?
I've only seen it once so far. We're taking our
wow.
youngest son tomorrow to go see it again.
Very cool. Has anybody seen the movie more than once here? Matt, you haven't seen it more than once? Really?
Not yet. Not
What?
yet. Not yet. No.
Oh man, I'm surprised.
Anybody
Roy-
else smell a Goopply outing?
Well, I figured Matt would have seen it like 3 times by now.
I had it scheduled to see it 3 times, but everything else got messed up with it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you told me you were going to see it 3 times before the first of the year.
Yeah, that was the plan. So, but
I mean, before we get into the Star Wars conversation, tell us, so Roy and I thought you were going to see it multiple times. You had plans to see it multiple times? Like it was scheduled out?
Well, I want to see it at the Cinerama, and like the Cinerama's been sold out forever, which is the big theater in Seattle. It's owned by Paul Allen, and it's like an amazing theater to see movies like that in, and it's just been sold out for like weeks. And then when you try and get tickets, it's really hard to get tickets. There was problems with their website. It said there was tickets, there was no tickets available. So it was just kind of it's been a hassle to try and get tickets there because it's been so popular. I originally wanted to go see it on opening night there. Tickets were $75, and they were showing all the movies starting at 1 o'clock, leading all the way up to the premiere at 9 o'clock. And then
So it was a Star Wars marathon.
Basically a Star Wars marathon, and they had intermissions in there as well.
But you could skip the first half of the day.
I would never have been able to do that. Like, all of the hype from all the Star Wars, and then, like, watching it all the way through. By the time that the last movie got there, I'd just be dead. I'd be like, I don't even know anymore. I know
agree.
what's going on, yeah. But that's cool. I'm sorry it didn't work out for you. But, at least you got to see it somehow. At least everybody's made it.
I did.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say I saw it opening night, and it was great. It was fantastic. So I didn't want to get spoiled at all in any way, shape, or form.
Same here.
Because that's the problem. It's like, you had to see it at some point. Otherwise, if you don't see it as fast as possible, then someone's going to spoil it for you. Something's going to get spoiled.
Well,
Fortunately, I made it through.
Roy didn't see it till, Monday, right?
Yeah,
Did you
I
see
waited
it
the whole
today?
week, and I literally... No. I was supposed to go see it today, but that ended up not working out. But I literally deleted all the social networking apps off my phone until I saw the movie.
Good
I
plan.
wouldn't read the news. I stayed off the internet as much as possible.
Smart move.
Yep. I basically avoided all social media as much as I possibly could. Fortunately, I didn't get anything spoiled for me.
But you saw it the next day.
Did I?
Friday,
I saw it.
right? Friday,
I think
right?
I might have seen. Yeah, I saw it Friday at 9 or something like that. But I mean, there were like pre-screenings and stuff, and I just didn't want people saying things happened, even if they were completely fabricated, to like ruin my expectation of the movie. Like if people talked about, this character isn't in this movie, and even if they aren't mentioned in the movie at all, I'd be like, oh, I didn't know that character wasn't in this movie. Well, now I'm sad. Like that kind of thing. But that's just me. What did you guys want to talk about first? Because I'm not the Star Wars buff. I just thought it'd be a fun conversation.
Can we talk about how Luke still has not gotten to Tosche Station to pick up those power converters?
Oh my!
The guy's a slacker.
I'm really interested to hear Tim's point of view with him not being a huge Star Wars fan.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I've seen all of the Star Wars movies available. I haven't read any of the books.
I haven't read any of the books either.
What about you, Roy? You, Steve?
I read more of the comics. I don't really go into the book genre, but I know a lot about the universe.
Well, are we talking about the universe that was or the universe that is now?
We'll go into both.
I know a little bit of what was the expanded universe, but of course that is that's all legend now. It's not not official canon.
Yep.
And Tim, what about you? What's your experience with Star Wars?
I don't really pay attention too much to it. I know the basic stuff about it, but I mostly play Battlefront, so I know that. I mean, I'm not a huge. I haven't really seen any of the films, but seeing The Force Awakens for the first time, I thought it was pretty good for not really being a huge Star Wars person.
I mean, talking about playing Battlefront, it's like you got the highlights of Star Wars, and then you just went to see the new movie. You got like the abridged version.
You're good to go.
Yeah. I mean, so I guess we can start with the beginning of the movie where, well, I guess no. First, what was your guys' opinion of it? Matt, we'll start with you. What did you think of the movie? How would you describe your opinion of it?
Awesome. It was pretty much everything that I hoped it was going to be. I was really afraid because Disney, bought, it and took it all over and stuff like that. So I was really worried about Disney messing it all up. But I'm glad they didn't, and I think it was very well written and put together, and I couldn't have looked for a better outcome. I was so happy they didn't leave us with a huge cliffhanger about Luke, basically at the end, because that just, I was waiting for it, when at the end I was just waiting for it to, end right there, in space when the ship took off,
So at the end of the movie, Luke is standing there on this really kind of majestic, kind of remote,
like Lord of the Rings island.
Yeah, like this Lord of the Rings island, and he's just there, and we don't know why he's there. We don't know really what he's been doing the whole time. And Rey walks up to him and is handing him his old lightsaber.
Yeah,
and Luke just would not shut up. I swear.
He's always been a talker.
And that's not a cliffhanger to you?
That's not the things they get.
It is, but it's
literally standing on a cliff.
Not a.
I think that the ending gave us enough closure for now and enough questions to have us longing for the next movie. I think it was a good way to kind of seal it off. It wasn't. Yes, we want to know more, but we're satisfied enough that we can painfully wait 2 years for the next one.
So it sounds like you enjoyed it, and you understand that they were building all of these breadcrumbs, and that you will painfully be waiting for the next one to see where it goes.
Yeah, it will. I'm hoping it's early 2017 and not late 2017, but it'll probably be late 2017.
They're going the late route.
Gotta get that holiday in.
Yeah, it's going well for them now.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Steve? What do you think of the movie?
I thought it was great. I mean, I like how they kind of did the same plot point as the earlier movies. Big Death Star, bad guy. And I think it brought in a lot of the old fans because it was something familiar. Mm-hmm. And I hopefully in the next movie they'll expand on it and it'll be something completely different than we've seen before. But other than that, it's honestly one of my favorite Star Wars movies today. And my favorite used to be Empire Strikes Back, and I had to watch that again once I saw this new one,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, it's still my favorite Star Wars movie to date.
Empire
J.J.
Strikes Back
Abrams
is your
killed it.
favorite still? Or no, this is your new favorite
This
Star
is
Wars
my
movie.
new favorite.
Oh man, okay.
I mean, J.J. Abrams killed it. I was excited when I heard he was a director. He brought me into the Star Trek universe, and I love Star Trek now. So
Yeah, he's never done anything bad, really.
no,
Yeah.
he's a great director.
Yeah. What about you, Tim? What did you think of the movie? You said
thought
you
it was-
enjoyed it, but
Yeah, I thought it was great. Like it made I was afraid it wasn't gonna make any sense, and I'd be like, what's going on? But it actually did make sense for someone that hasn't seen it or any other Star Wars. But,
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good film.
did you buy into the people with lightsabers being like the best, most deadly people in the galaxy, like over guns and people with like light flamethrower sticks, like that stormtrooper?
Yeah, I did.
Cool. My opinion is that I don't actually know what to think of the movie. I liked it, but I also really, really didn't like it because so much of the movie added, like people have said, questions. And I'm so very curious to see what Finn's future is going to be like, what Rey's future is going to be like, and her history, what Kylo Ren's deal is, and why his personality and his behavior and his kind of, I don't know, reckless, what his behavior is, and whether or not General Snoke is someone to take seriously, and all of the little like moments where things were happening in the story, and then the story itself like took control, and it's like, well, we'll just continue this later. So we're done with this now. We'll just put this in future movies, and don't worry about it. So I don't know what to think of this movie because I feel like so much of it will be determined by how good the next few movies are.
That's a
Like-
good point.
Like Finn, at first I thought he was going to be a Jedi, which I
Yeah,
hope
Same
he
here.
wasn't going to be a Jedi because of
I
all
still
the
feel like
promotions.
he can be one. I mean, he freaking almost beat the shit out of Kylo Ren. I mean,
Does he have enough midichlorians though? Does he have the right?
Well,
you
you
gotta
also
have him
gotta remember that
somewhere.
he
I mean,
was-
he was freaking dueling with that guy.
The guy the guy was conditioned from birth though to be a stormtrooper. I mean, it stands to reason that he knows how to handle a weapon fairly well. I mean, granted, Kylo Ren is still, a Jedi, and that's still a force to be reckoned with. But at the same time, I don't know. I think that his conditioning from birth plays a lot into it as well.
And I think
And the fact of the matter is, he's still got his butt kicked fairly easily when Kylo Ren got tired of playing around with him.
Yeah.
And the difference between like him and Rey is that Finn had never actually been in a battle until this movie began. So it's like, and he was already kind of really anxious about the whole thing, which is why he broke out of being a stormtrooper to begin with. But Rey has had to like scrap her whole life and seemingly defend herself. So her being able to pick up the lightsaber and do well with it when we saw her punching people in this movie or whatever and using some kind of like staff or something isn't. I think it stands to reason that she would be good enough to face other people.
Well, I think both of them did much better than Luke did when he first held a lightsaber.
Oh, yes.
Definitely.
Can we address that for a second? Speaking of Rey and her ability to handle a lightsaber, not just that, but her ability to use the Force pretty well without any
Basically
real
instantly.
training. It honestly leads me to believe in a theory that she was one of the Padawans that Luke was training at his Jedi Academy, and probably a sole survivor, and that's why she was stashed away on Jakku. I mean, I don't know. I think that's the strongest case of any theory of her past.
That makes sense.
I mean, Luke and even Anakin in Episode 1. I mean, they weren't. They were able to use the Force on a very slight way, but she was able to resist Kylo Ren's interrogation. She was able to, use
Force pulled the
her
lightsaber.
Jedi mind tricks. She was able to do too much that we've been shown new people who have no Force training, they don't have the ability to do yet. I mean, look how much Luke struggled in New Hope to use the Force to figure out where the blasts were going to come from the little trainer floaty bot thing, whatever, the remote, that's what it's called, the remote, as it flew around and he had the blast shield over his eyes. I mean, it took him a while to master that. And she, in, a matter of seconds, was able to, on her second try, convince the stormtrooper to leave her alone and drop his weapon.
Mm.
I think it stands to reason that she's had forced training, whether she can remember it or not.
That
I think
makes
that's a good theory.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody buy into Rey being Luke's daughter? Because that's the opposite end of the spectrum, is that she has like extra power or something, and so she just tapped into that.
I've also read that she's could be Obi-Wan's granddaughter and Luke's daughter.
Obi-Wan's granddaughter.
So, like Obi-Wan had a daughter, and Luke somehow, I guess.
That would mean that Obi-Wan gave in to attachment when he knew that, we even heard him say to Anakin that wasn't quite right. And to believe that it's Luke's daughter, although that thought had definitely crossed my mind, I think would make more sense if we've been introduced to somebody that even remotely Luke could have been interested in, at this point in time. I guess that could always happen next episode, and we don't find out Rey's heritage until maybe episode 9. The thought also crossed my mind in theaters that they were borrowing from the expanded universe, and maybe Kylo Ren has a twin sister that he doesn't know about.
I think the twins thing is old, though. If they were to do that again,
Well, they pretty much played the first movie over again in this one, so.
Yeah, that's true.
With a much better Death Star.
Yes. If you're gonna go, you gotta go big or go home.
Yeah.
This wasn't big. This was just like, I'm just gonna casually destroy 5 planets.
I thought to myself, what should we do that should be really big in this movie? We could do another Death Star. No, we've already done that twice. We need to think of something else. How about we have a bigger Death Star? Done.
Yeah.
Let's not make it a Death Star. Let's make it a planet that has to drain suns, but it can only happen during a certain amount of time because the planet is rotating, and we won't build another funnel system on the other side of the planet. But whatever.
So let's move on to the Han Solo.
Han Solo is dead.
Who was happy with that? Anybody?
More importantly,
Who would
did
be
anybody
happy
other
with
than
that?
me see that coming?
No, I saw that coming.
Everybody must have saw that coming.
I knew it was coming before I saw the movie.
When you give first, if you didn't watch the movie or you didn't see the trailers or whatever, you watch the movie. Right there in the movie, he hands the detonator to Chewie. That is like the right there, that point that it's over with for him. It was.
And you don't walk on a bridge with no guardrails. What is that?
No.
What is that? He's dead from the beginning.
Absolutely. You handed away your life. You handed away your importance.
God.
I knew that they had to kill Han Solo off in either this movie or the next one, because there's no other way that, in my opinion, there is no other way that Han Solo as a character can die. He can't die of natural causes. He can't die from some stupid malfunction. He has to go out in some weird blaze of glory. I mean, I have a feeling that Han knew when he was walking out there that he was walking out to his death, and as he had this conversation with his son, that he knew that Kylo Ren was going to kill him.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
The look on his face.
Yeah, I agree.
mean, he... Yeah.
What if... when Han Solo died, it seemed very, peaceful, almost. Like, Kylo Ren was doing the thing that he was doing where... I have this light side to me, and I know that I have a light side, and I talk about it all the time. But I'm supposed to be this dark character, and I need you, Han Solo, to do something for me, to die, so I can finally go to the dark side or whatever. But I don't think you can just force yourself to do one or the other. I don't know that much about Star Wars lore, but from a personal standpoint, it seems like Kylo Ren is either has some other plan going on around him, or is a really, really really messed up character.
Have you heard the fan theory that talks about him actually being the hero? Kind of going along with what you were saying, it was that he found out about the Supreme Leader Snoke, and he decided that the only way that he could really take him down is to turn to the dark side and work for this guy, from the inside out, take him down. So he killed all those Padawans. He turned to the dark side, and he knew that only the power of the dark side could kill him or something like this. And so killing his dad was the final threshold to help him get to that point, because his family is his last tie to the light side. So killing his dad, he's like, I have something I need to do, but I need your help with it. And that's the whole leading into the theory that even Han realized that in that moment that Han had to die in order for him to be truly on the dark side, not have that pull to the light.
Like Snoke needs to see some kind of commitment.
I don't know if that's it. I think it's been a while since I read that fan theory. I mean, I read it shortly after I saw the movie, but it was more like his dad, his family in general, is where his pulling towards the light side is from, and he needs to eliminate that if he's going to be fully on the dark side.
Oh,
okay.
So he needs to get more power.
Exactly. He feels that in order to defeat the Supreme Leader, he needs to be, really on the dark side. I mean, he's...
Okay.
I wish that I could remember more of the theory that I'd read. It made a lot of sense when I read it, although I honestly feel that they're grasping at straws at the same time. Like, I don't believe that fan theory, but when you read it, you could... Okay, I can see that. I don't believe it, but I can see it.
It would make sense for his character, considering his character seemed really childish and really young. If you give him this kind of larger purpose, it makes his actions start to make sense and have some kind of direction. Because otherwise, he's just having temper tantrums all over the place.
It seemed like he was overcompensating, with his anger to show how much of a dark Jedi he was.
Yeah.
Like, look at me, I'm angry. And we all know anger is bad. I'm going to slash things with my lightsaber because I'm emo.
Yeah, which I was very put off by that because it seemed very it seemed like you said it was kind of overcompensating for not actually being that evil or just not having enough training. Which I'm curious what General Snoke actually is, because even if Kylo Ren was hurt, it seemed like Rey dominated Kylo Ren when they were fighting at the end. It wasn't like Kylo Ren had, it wasn't like a back and forth. It was just Kylo Ren lost immediately as soon as Rey channeled her inner force and then went after him. And then throughout the whole movie, it just seemed like Kylo Ren didn't have the kind of maturity that any of the other Dark Jedi that I've seen before have had.
You got to remember that you haven't seen Dark Jedi before. You've seen Sith. This is the first actual Dark Jedi that we've seen. I mean, Sith are evil. The Dark Jedi just, use the dark side of the Force.
Oh.
There is a huge difference in the Star Wars universe.
Okay. What do you think Sith is? What do you guys think? Or not Sith, but Snoke is. Is he a Sith or is he just like a puppet master?
I don't really know on my end.
Yeah, it's hard to tell right now.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the watching the movie. A lot of the times they show him, he almost resembles like a Hitler-style character.
I mean, definitely. The speech that one guy was giving in front of all of the stormtroopers, just standing there, is very, very Nazi-ish. But I'm just curious what Snoke is going to be, because he's supposedly training Kylo in the dark arts, the dark side of the Force. But I mean, he's just sitting in his chair most of the time, so it's hard to get a feel of what he's actually going to be and how powerful he is. And given Kylo's performance, it makes me think that he might not end up being a legitimate Jedi kind of person. Maybe he's just using Kylo Ren to, get what he wants. Which is, I don't even know what that is, but it just seems like he's not super skilled in the Jedi arts so far.
It would be super Dark Jedi of him to be using Kylo Ren.
That's true.
Can you imagine, like, so he said that it was time to complete Kylo Ren's training. Can you imagine if Kylo Ren was more powerful? I mean, the dude stopped the blaster bolt in mid-fire and was able to carry on a conversation while holding it there. Never seen anybody that powerful. I mean, even Anakin didn't do things like that.
That's true. Oh. Okay. I don't have any other questions. I mean, I loved how everybody acted. I thought all of the acting was great. Like, all the characters were really well done and really interesting. I'm, of course, curious how I forgot what her name was, but she owned the tavern or whatever it was on that one planet.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember what her name was either.
She's the new Yoda.
She's the new Yoda? I wonder how she got Luke's lightsaber. I'm curious about that. So many questions.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of questions, and I think that, that's what this new saga is going to do, is it's going to leave a lot of questions for us. And, we may not know some of the answers in the next one either. I think that they'll start answering some of the questions, but it may be the third one before we actually find out, truly everything.
Yeah. Did you guys enjoy seeing Princess Leia?
Oh man, she's aged.
Yeah. Hey now, remember, she's done a lot of interviews lately, and she doesn't like how people are saying that.
She's not a princess anymore, remember that.
Yeah, she's a general.
Speaking of that, if Disney now owns Star Wars, doesn't that technically make Leia a Disney princess?
Yeah.
I would say so. I think
Absolutely.
they consider her a Disney princess.
I mean, there are two versions of Leia in this universe now. There's General Leia, and then there's actual Princess Leia, so she gets both.
Does anybody think that we're going to see older Star Wars characters in the next series by any chance? Does anybody have any theories on that?
I want to see Lando.
Yeah, so Lando's got to be in the next one. I was expecting to see him in this one. I was surprised we didn't.
I knew that they hadn't signed him on to this one, that he wasn't on the bill. It was just as far other than the people who did the droids and whatnot, Leia, Luke, and Han were the only returning main characters.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Luke had a huge role in this one.
Somebody needs to give him less talking lines.
That guy.
So any thoughts on the third one? Anybody have any ideas on anything about not the third one, the second one, I mean?
The next one?
The next one out of this series.
I am hoping that we see Snoke come out of whatever cave that he's in and train Kylo Ren or have like a face-to-face conversation with him so I can understand what his motivation is, because I think that'd be really cool. I also am curious if Luke will die in the second movie, because Han died in the first one, Obi died in the first one, Yoda died in the third one? Or like the beginning of the third one?
Yoda died in
episode.
No, Yoda died in the.
He in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Episode 6.
So it's like Luke is probably definitely going to die at some point. I mean, if he doesn't, then congratulations for making it out of there.
Forever.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a part of me that wants to see Luke live on to the end of the saga, just because I would like to see some foundation of the Jedi Order be built again, and if Luke dies off, I don't see it happening for a much longer time. I mean, pretend that we assume that Rey lives through the entire saga as well. I think it'll be sometime before she's ready to take on learners herself, because, I mean, there's only so much that Luke will be able to teach her in 3 movies if he ends up dying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How much do you guys think that Luke got paid for that little scene where he stood on the cliff and turned around and?
Probably enough.
I heard that Han Solo or what's his name?
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford got paid like 50 times more than the younger actors did.
What?
I want to say Harrison Ford was the top billed actor in that movie.
Well, that explains why they had to kill him off that.
Yeah. Well, I also heard too that he wasn't too big into coming back to the Star Wars series from the articles that I've read. So that's before I even saw the movie, I had a feeling they were going to kill him off because it seemed like he was done from the series to begin with.
Did you hear he wants to pick up the fedora and the bullwhip again though?
Oh God.
No way.
He said in an interview that he wants to. He is not opposed to making another Indiana Jones movie, and from what I understand, there is another one in the works.
That's ridiculous.
Man,
that guy still looks good.
For his age, he looks like he's in. I mean, I don't know how well he can do an Indiana Jones movie. I mean, he doesn't look like he can move as well anymore. Not as fast as Indiana Jones needs to. I mean, he's definitely not going to outrun a boulder anytime soon. But for his age, he looks pretty good.
I guess I do have one last question about Star Wars. The First Order is not the Republic. The First Order is people who look a lot like the Republic and kind of took over their military, appearance.
By the Republic, you mean the Empire, right?
The Empire, yeah. And then there's Princess Leia, General of the Resistance, used to be the Rebels.
Yep.
Trying to fight the Empire, which was, the Republic. What is everybody doing now, and why? Like, what are they fighting against, and
I
why?
looked this up.
Yes.
Because I had the same question. I'm like, why is there a resistance if the Republic exists? Like, why isn't the Republic fighting the First Order? The Republic is not officially recognizing that the First Order exists. So they have authorized Princess Leia to have a group of fighters to combat the resistance, and they're just trying to quell it on a more quiet basis. But of course, now that the First Order has completely taken out the New Republic Senate, it's going to be hard to keep that quiet. I mean, they're now officially going. I mean, if the Republic isn't in complete shambles in the next movie, they're going to have to recognize that the First Order exists and that they are a major threat.
Okay.
It was all a matter of not wanting to panic people and not recognizing them as a legitimate threat.
Okay. That makes sense.
What do you guys think about each of these new movies having different directors?
It's not any different than.
Do you think that'll play the role in different movie styles?
Yes.
Yes, I think it could.
I mean, J.J. Abrams is all about, like, secrecy and speed and getting people into what's going on, like, immediately. And so I felt that this movie was very much J.J. Abrams. It's just like it started, things are happening, lots of things are happening, it's over, we're going to the next movie now. And then
J.J. Abrams is staying on as an executive producer through the entire saga, though, to help keep some sort of continuity to it. Disney was very strong opinion about that, and J.J. Abrams recently said that he's kind of sad that he didn't decide to direct Episode 8.
Yeah, I also read that too. After he read the script, he said he wished he would have directed that one.
How about Star Wars Rogue One out next year? Who's excited for that?
Did they announce a Han Solo yet?
They did. It is. It'll be it's a Han Solo Fett. So it says Fett/Solo anthology is the name of what it is, and that is going to be in between 8 and 9. So we got Rogue One that's coming out. Is that right? Rogue One comes out next. Somewhere in there is an Obi-Wan. I can't remember where that is. And then it's Episode 8, and then there's also going to be the Fett Solo anthology, and then Episode 9.
Do they have the characters?
They just officially released it. Oh, I don't know about that. There's going to be a young Han Solo. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I want to know who's going to play young Han Solo. That's going to be a big part.
I think it's too far in the future for them to have had anything. Let me see if I can find out that timeline really quick.
Ryan Gosling comes to mind when I think Han Solo.
I heard rumors of Chris Pratt from Jurassic World.
He could do an Indiana Jones or Han Solo. I could see that.
I don't think he'd be bad in Han Solo.
I agree.
So let's see. If anybody can read that.
It's a blur to me.
Is that the timeline?
Oh. It doesn't. Nothing has a date except for the fact that we're doing. So it looks like Star Wars: Force Awakens, followed by Rogue One, followed by Episode 8, followed by Kenobi: The Balance of the Force, followed by Episode 9, followed by Fett/Solo Anthology.
Sounds like they're booked for 5 years.
Exactly. They're doing one every year. So, I mean, 2 years from now we have Episode 8. So 4 years from now we have Episode 9. So you're looking 5 years from now before you get your Han Solo movie.
I want a Poe Dameron movie.
That guy's badass.
I loved that guy. He was so cool. And he just survives, like, that random crash or whatever. I'm like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
That's too bad. He was kind of cool.
I actually read a article saying that he was originally supposed to die in the first script.
Really?
Yeah, and they, I guess they liked his character too much and they kept him around.
Good.
I'm glad they kept him around. I really like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good character for the series for sure. Another good guy to root for.
Yeah.
And to make toys.
I mean, you sell a figure of him, then you sell his X-Wing. It's easy.
Exactly.
So I think I'm going to just ask this. I think everybody saw the movie in the first week, I think, or I hope. But how many clapped, screamed, hollered during the movie?
People clapped at the end of my movie. But there wasn't a lot of in-movie vocalization.
What about when they did the opening credits, and
Oh, yeah.
like,
I think so.
Yeah,
I saw it
that was a big moment in mine, and you have to understand, I was at the first 7:00 showing, so it was a lot of anticipation for that. And then when that finally came on, the clapping, the whistling, the cheering all came on, and that's kind of the way it's been from all the movies that I've seen in the theaters. Like, that is it. They've all whistled and stuff like that, and you've never gotten that from any other movie. But I was glad that the anticipation was still there for everybody, and stuff like that. Because Tim, how do you like the game?
It's pretty fun. The new one's not as good as like the old ones because EA's trying to.
Oh, I love the new one.
Transactions.
And it's only available on the PlayStation, correct?
No, it's Xbox One, PlayStation, and PC.
Okay. I thought they were originally going to go with an exclusive PlayStation deal, but
they did
PlayStation
exclusive
has exclusive content.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's cool. I want to play the new Star Wars game. I haven't gotten it yet, but I plan to.
It's really good.
Have you played as Princess Leia? Is it awesome? I just want to play as Princess Leia because this little, like...
She's not that great in the game, trust me.
She's
Darth
not.
Vader and Luke Skywalker are where it's at.
Yeah, that's it.
I just want to be Princess Leia, the terror of the battlefield. It sounds so awesome. But Luke and Darth Vader. And is the Emperor in this game? Can you play as him?
Yeah, you can play as the Emperor, Darth Vader, Boba Fett, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Princess Leia.
Oh, the Emperor just seems weird. I imagine him being like hunched over and like shimmying through.
Lightning powers.
Oh.
I haven't seen anybody play as the Emperor in this, and I've never played as him. And then
I'm
of
sure
course,
he'd be powerful.
if you're doing the Starfighter stuff, you can be the Millennium Falcon, or I think Slave One is the dark side one.
All I play is Walker Assault, pretty much. I think that's the best game mode.
I've heard that's the most fun.
Yeah.
I played the beta for a little bit, but there was too much going on before I figured out how to play, and then the beta was over, and I was like, dang it. All right, cool. Any other comments on the Star Wars universe in the last couple minutes here? Any other things that you guys are anticipating? Anybody going to see the movie more times, or?
I'm definitely going to see it in 3D, even if I can't see it at the Cinerama.
Oh, you haven't seen it 3D yet?
No, I saw it in 2D.
IMAX 3D is the only way to see that movie.
Well, the Cinerama's an IMAX theater, so I'm hoping that
you gotta see it in 3D.
Yeah,
it's amazing, especially the space scenes. I don't know why, and the end scene with the snow falling when Kylo Ren and Rey are fighting. It's just surreal. It's crazy.
Very cool. All right. Well, like the scene where Rey and Kylo were fighting, and the crevice opens up and separates them. To be continued. So, thank you guys for all being on the podcast. Matt, Roy, Steve, and Tim. Thank you guys. This has been Goopply. We'll see you guys on the next edition. Thanks for watching.
All right. See you guys.